Hello everyone, my name is Armstrong Nangewei. Today my colleagues and I will be presenting on the need for an information security plan or ISP for Agneco furnitures. This ISP is developed based on what we consider or determine as the unique needs for Agneco furnitures, given its various areas of function and departments. By definition, an information security plan is a comprehensive or detailed document that outlines policies, procedures, and technologies or techniques used to protect an organization's sensitive data and systems from unauthorized access, which may result in data disclosure, disruptions, modifications, and/or destruction. It should be noted that an ISP is designed to help a business or an organization protect against critical resources and information from a variety of threats.
An ISP is an essential component of an organization's overall security strategy, helping to ensure the protection of sensitive information, comply with regulations, and respond to security incidents efficiently. Here we have some security stats. But you may be asking, how does an ISP pertain to Agneco Furniture Company? Proprietary company information can easily be exposed, as well as insider threats that are prevalent risks that all companies face, leading to requirements to create policies and procedures to secure company data, assets, and users who utilize them day to day. Creating a decisive plan with policy in place allows for an industry standard compliance, cover legal obligations, and protect sensitive property. Following these guidelines will improve your security posture, provide guidance during an incident, and allow you to allocate your company resources more effectively. Here's some touch points on the different departments in Agneco's responsibilities and the sensitive data process in those groups. For instance, the sales department handles credit card transactions. This requires PSS DCI compliance to pass government industry standard regulations. HR may handle employee-sensitive information, which needs sensitive information secured by PII data policy and procedures. This is an overview of who is responsible, regulates those policies and procedures, and enforces them from the top down. We cover buy-in and the importance of cybersecurity enforcement from the executive branch later in the slides. Know that each of this department has a role to play. Whether being an end user or a security administrator, it is important that the information security plan provides guidance to the company's security posture for the day-to-day operations. Let's start discussing the different ISP sections.
An ISP, or Information Security Plan, can help Agneco in a multitude of ways. Firstly, it can aid in meeting regulatory requirements, an essential aspect for any company. Furthermore, it can improve the overall security posture of the organization and help respond to security incidents effectively. The ISP will also assist in allocating resources effectively to protect the most critical information assets. By implementing an ISP based on the NIST RMF risk management framework, Agneco can better safeguard its information systems and data against cyber threats. It will also help minimize the impact of security incidents and ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information assets.
Continuous monitoring is an important process that can be easily overlooked by many. Network intrusion detection systems and intrusion prevention systems are common continuous monitors for malicious network activity and can be utilized to be defensive mechanisms against malicious attacks. Asset scanning is another utility utilized by many organizations to monitor company assets, especially on a user level for outdated software or out-of-compliance operating systems, leaving the company vulnerable to easily mitigated attacks. This allows Agneco to run audits daily, weekly, or monthly, granting insight into the company's active security posture. The vulnerability management lifecycle encompasses 6 categories that allows the organization to identify, prioritize, assess, report, remediate, and verify the vulnerability has been eliminated. Here you can see the 6 categories are discover, prioritize assets, assess, report, remediate, and verify. Physical security is an important element to the security repertoire of the ISP, covering physical security controls such as door locks, badge readers, surveillance cameras, and alarms, to name a few. An ISP can help change the workplace culture and the security mindset of employees working at the on-site facility. Policies and procedures ensure keeping facilities secure with frequent audits of security equipment and physical barriers.
Access control involves both physical access control and software or systems access control, with the main objectives being to grant or deny entry into specific areas or locations within the company. Physical access control should include aspects such as turnstiles, gates, and or door locks. Also, credentials for physical entry into software systems should include key fobs, encrypted badges, mobile credentials, or biometrics. Therefore, in order to develop an effective ISP that would take all the above into consideration, the following categories should be considered: discretionary access control, mandatory access control, role-based access control, and attribute-based access control. Asset management involves the need for a detailed physical asset management standards as postulated by the Information Security Forum and Standard of Good Practice for Information Security. Therefore, physical asset management requires identifying the various assets of great value to the company amongst other assets owned by the company, and how to better manage them, such as to guarantee increased productivity and life cycle. These could be key hardware such as special equipments, for example, industrial control systems or machinery, and other office equipment such as network printers, multifunction devices, etc. Also, making sure that tracking and assigning assets to personnel use is implemented, as well as ensuring that end of life, that is, keeping assets up to date and security relevance, is maintained. Data protection and privacy is principal so as to maintain the overall integrity of the company. Data privacy implies who owns or have access to the data, whereas data protection implies policies and tools put in place that restrict access to data. Therefore, a need for a comprehensive regulatory compliance to users' privacy following industrial standards is necessary. This implies an ISP would provide guidelines to 1. Effective data protection and privacy towards personal identifiable information or PII for every employee. 2. Effective data protection and privacy to protect business partners, operations, development, and finance. And 3. Effective data protection and privacy to prevent unnecessary data breaches to companies' company's reputation and ability to meet regulatory standards. Lastly, effective data protection and privacy solutions should involve techniques such as data loss prevention or DLP, data storage with built-in data protection, as well as firewalls and encryptions.
Acme Co. recognizes the importance of being prepared for potential security incidents that may affect its information systems and data. With an ISP in place, the company can follow NIST, National Institute of Standards and Technology, guidelines for its incident response process. These guidelines include NIST SP 800-61, which is the Computer Security Incident Handling Guide, and the NIST SP 800-83, which is the Guide to Malware Incident Prevention and Handling. The incident response process includes various steps such as preparation, detection, analysis, containment, eradication, recovery, and post-incident review. By following NIST guidelines, Acme Co. can respond quickly and effectively to security incidents, minimize their impact, and ensure the protection of its information assets. Having a well-defined incident response process can significantly reduce the risk associated with security incidents and keep Acme Co. secure.
Here we have the business continuity management section of the ISP. This section will cover the continuation of business operations, continuity readiness, and recovery information in light of a disaster or incident. A couple of things noted on this particular section: there's going to be the identification of potential threats. For example, the physical location of Acme Co. is in a hurricane-prone area, which we know, so this section will need to adjust that. the identification of critical infrastructure, impacts to business ops, organizational resilience, and of course disaster recovery. The diagram on the right breaks this out into 3 sections, the middle section in particular defining needed training for awareness, then the evaluation of a company's readiness. The compliance section of the ISP will touch upon and list the external policies and resources that ACMECO would adhere to from an information security standpoint. We have just a couple of examples listed here on this page. On the left, we have a couple of the NIST special publications. 800-50 addressing building training for IT security awareness, and then -53 addressing more of the risk management portion. On the right, we have listed ISO 22301, which talks about business continuity, which we just talked about in the slide previous, PCI DSS, which defines a set of standards for credit card payment security, and then we also list here the Federal Trade Commission to adhere to standards regarding consumer data privacy.
ACMECO is dedicated to safeguarding its sensitive information and systems, and an ISP is critical in achieving this goal. To adhere to the industry standards, the company will implement NIST guidelines for its information security plan, policies, and procedures. These guidelines include NIST SP 800-53, which outlines security and privacy controls for federal information systems and organizations. Additionally, NIST SP 800-30 provides guidance for conducting risk assessments, while NIST SP 800-39 offers a comprehensive approach to managing cybersecurity risks. To build an effective security awareness and training program, ACMECO will follow NIST SP 800-50. By following these NIST standards, ACMECO can ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of its information assets and manage cybersecurity risks in a comprehensive and systematic manner. ACMECO should establish policies that govern various aspects of access control, contingency, data classification, change control, remote access, and incident response. Access control policies define which types of access are permitted, to which groups, and under what circumstances. Contingency policies ensure that data remains available during unexpected events. The data classification policy specifies the classification of data based on its sensitivity. The change control policy outlines procedures for making changes to IT data or resources. Remote access policies provide guidelines for accessing the internal network remotely via VPN. These policies restrict access to company resources and enhance encryption and network security to protect company proprietary data. Lastly, the incident response policy outlines how incidents are reported and investigated.
We have an acceptable user agreement, a document employees sign agreeing to the company's use terms of IT equipment and network policies in place. Network security provides the security for a company's network infrastructure. Security awareness includes many security training programs such as annual cybersecurity training for employees on IT equipment to look for phishing, malicious emails, and unimproved installs. Physical security training programs could also be included, such as reminding employees of policies for badging and tailgating into facilities. Audit and logging policies are enforced from the top down to ensure quarterly, semi-annual, and annual audits are being conducted to ensure processes and procedures are being successfully followed. Physical access was covered in the previous slide, but remains on the list of important policies to choose from.
By having clear policies in place, ACMECO can maintain control of its data and systems, protect sensitive information, and respond effectively to any incidents that may arise.
Now that we've gone through the importance of an ISP and the structure and plan of what it can consist of, we think it's important to note the importance of governance and executive support in regards to information security. The 4 sections on the left point out a few things that would be important at those high levels. There's high stakes decisions, which C-level positions have to make based on risk, day-to-day decisions, which should align with the company's strategic goals, big picture metrics, which should be analyzed at this level for possible adjustments, and then policy review, where both internally developed and externally developed policies should be looked at based on new compliance releases. But with all that being said, the most important bullet for why this support is important is listed here on the right, where security posture needs a champion in the C-level executives. When information security is taken seriously at the top level, it'll have a trickle-down effect and create a culture of information security throughout the company as a whole. Lastly, we just wanted to list a few of the security guides that we would be utilizing for either frameworks or best practices in use for the planning or evaluation of the company's current security posture, and of course the development of the ISP and other documents. Towards the bottom are the special publications that we've already addressed. At the top we have both the NIST Security Framework and the NIST Risk Management Framework, which are both risk-based approach documents that'll help define the ISP and the overall information security posture at Acme Co. And then the SGP will also provide overall guidance into implementing security best practices with a business-oriented focus. Lastly, on behalf of my team, we'd like to thank you for listening to our presentation on the importance of an ISP.